Hi, it's Hannes, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Kaizen principle. And it made such an impact in my life that for the last, I think it's like 15 years or so, I've got a private registration number called Kaizen. Okay, the Kaizen principle is a Japanese word, and it basically means improvement. In short, that's what it means. Now, I believe that there's a lot of things in life that once we hear about it, it makes sense, but inherently we were born with these principles within us. And let me give you an example. Towards the end of 1989, I was in Volkskas Brokers at that stage, and my goal was to be in the top 3 for that specific year, 89 and 90, because the financial year ended in June. I think it was in June 1990 for that specific financial year. But in December of that year, we had a branch meeting, and I discovered that I was number 100. So on the Saturday morning, while I was jogging, I thought, but how can I get myself to be number 1, right? So I did a simple calculation, math, and I calculated if this lady that was number 1 at that point, what it is that she's done over the last 6 months, I took it forward and I said, okay, in other words, if I want to beat her, I need to get at least that amount of commission over the next period of time. So I said, okay, I've got 6 months to be able to do it, and I strategized. So while I was jogging, I thought by myself, all I have to do is, what if I can improve myself with just 10%? What if I can do just 10% better? And then I started breaking everything that I was doing in terms of my work. I started breaking that down, and I said, okay, first of all, I must get leads. Okay, so how can I make sure that I get 10% better leads? How can I get 10% more leads? How can I contact those leads 10% better? And that, I took that process through everything that I have to do, from writing the policy, delivering the policy, making sure that my persistency rate is improving by 10%, and so forth. So I started off, that was December. In January, I started applying this that I've learned. Towards the end of January, I was in the top 50. I was then in the top 20, 3 months to go in the top 10. And I've missed it. I wasn't number 1. I was number 2 for the year. And the reason for that was simply that I made my maths were not correct, because I did not take into consideration that the winner could also increase his or her, that was a lady that won that year, could increase her production. Okay, and the proof of the pudding is very, very simple. There's the little certificate to say that I was number 2 for that year. Now, why is this so important? You see, I've applied the Kaizen principle without knowing about the Kaizen principle, because in 1982, 83, I picked up this book by Anthony Robbins, Awakening the Giant Within. Okay, and if you haven't read this book, I will strongly suggest that you do. And I'm not sure if you can see, but the way that I'm doing books, I'm not reading that. This guy becomes like a mentor to me, and I take notes, and I literally form this in a mind map, and I start applying this, because it made so much sense to me. And his interpretation of Kaizen is not Kaizen in terms of just improvement. He calls it Kani. It's a constant and never-ending improvement. And to tell you the truth, I actually like that principle more than just the Kaizen principle. But the Kaizen principle is to improve. Now, if you can improve on a day-to-day basis, it's going to be far better. So one of the challenges that I'm busy with at the moment is to keep my heart rate for a period of time, each and every day, over 120. Now, if I'm getting 120 today and 120 tomorrow and 120 today, the day after that, do I actually improve? And the answer is yes, I do improve, because it's 120 plus 120 plus 120 for half an hour plus half an hour. So it starts to accumulate, and the body is an incredible machine, you know. So what the body is going to do as you progress, so as you become fitter, it's going to take more effort for you to be able to get your heart rate to 120. So it's a progressive realization of a worthy goal. That is the definition of success. Earl Nightingale refers to success as a progressive realization of a worthy goal. So that then ties in directly with the concept of Kaizen. So if we know our goal and we work consistently and progressively achieving that and moving towards that goal, then we can call ourselves success. Because if success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal, each and every day that we do something to get towards that goal, we are improving, right? And therefore we can say that we are successful. And a lot of people don't measure success that way, and I think they are doing themselves in the process, because they strive towards something that is not attainable, and that they apply a massive amount of effort into it, but not on a consistent basis. So if I can suggest something, apply this improvement story, but do the combination with Anthony Robbins, and do it to such an extent that it's a consistent, and then that you measure it, because unless you measure it, how do you know if you are progressing and if you are improving your life? Okay, so that's that I wanted to tell you. If you're not on my blog, or if you're not on Facebook, or doing the mentoring course, and you see this, please subscribe to my blog, where I'm sharing stuff like this on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you think there's something that you can add to this, please use the comment section to do that. If you've got questions, please ask me questions, because I believe success has got 95% to do with the mindset. So 5%, the most important 5%, is going to give us a 95% outcome when it comes to financial freedom, as an example. All right, so this morning I had a nice session. I think my heart rate over half an hour was like 135. So I feel good about that. I've done what I was supposed to do. It's quite early in the morning. I'm going to look at another property this afternoon. I think I'm still waiting for the outcome of 2 weeks ago. The people keep on postponing and not giving us the right information. So I assume at this point in time that deal is not going to go through, simply because the figures that they originally gave us is not the real figures. That's the only reason or explanation that I have at this stage. Why don't they give us that we ask? And by now you know that I'm doing a calculation, I'm doing the math. And if the math says it's not great and it's not going to help me to get to my financial freedom growth rate, and it's not going to help me to get to my goal, I'll let go of that. So this afternoon we're going to have a look at another property. The size of the property is a lot smaller, it's a lot cheaper, but by now you also know that it's got nothing to do with how cheap or how expensive the property is. It is what is the growth on your investment. In other words, what is your IRR, or what's your investment growth rate, and that growth rate must be higher than your financial freedom growth rate. And if the math gel, then I'm going to continue with that. So I'll give you feedback on that, and then I'll see you tomorrow. See you.